So let us begin, guys. Or we can wait for 2 more minutes. I'm just waiting some more people to join. Um, okay. Anyway, so let us begin. It's already like 5:39. Let's begin. Right. So today we are going to start with a machine learning. Right. Our today's topic we will start with a machine learning. Right. Now there are a few more topics left for the Django. Right. But whatever is the important topic, we already covered this. And our aim of this entire session is that we should build a website where we integrate our machine learning. This is the agenda of this entire session. You should be ready so that if you join any company, if your company said ki, you need to integrate machine learning into this website, you can able to do it, right? Okay. So with the help of Django, we know that you can create the any website or a web application, right? Let's take it here. Web application, right? Okay. So let's begin. And we'll see this Django often. We'll see this future in future also. Because we have to develop the project inside this Django also. Whatever the remaining portion we have to finish, we'll see it later. Right? So now let's start with our machine learning. This. Okay, this is okay. I think there's some network issue. Can you please someone confirm whether is my voice is audible? Is there any kind of breaking voice? Someone please just give me the confirmation. Can you hear my voice like properly? Omer, Karthik, Vashu. Okay, it's clear. It's clear, right? Okay, so let's begin, right? Now, first, let's start with a little motivation. Why you should learn machine learning, right? So, first thing, you know that whenever you open the Netflix, right, it is going to recommend you some movie, right? Next, whenever you open any Amazon, again, it is going to recommend you some product. Next, whenever you type anything on the Google, right, it will give you autocorrect, right, or autocorrect, or it will give you some suggestion for a completion, right? For example, let's say you have a WhatsApp and you typing something, and below you will see some suggestion. For example, if you type today I'm going to, again it is going to add some suggestion, right? So, and after this, next, let's take another example. For example, let's say you go to the Instagram. Let's say Instagram. And after this, you watch one reel. Now you will notice a related kind of reels, it will always come to your feed, right? After this, next, let's say you have a YouTube and you watch some video on the YouTube, and you will notice a related kind of video you will only get in the recommendation in your YouTube, right? Now, these everything is did with the help of artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? This entire thing did with the help of AI. And there are so many applications of AI, right? The other application you can see, let's say I wanted to open a Google map, right? I wanted to go from, let's say, a source to destination. Now, what this Google map will do, it will give you the shortest path. Maybe to reach this distance, there may be a shortest path, right? There can be a multiple paths, right? But Google will going to suggest you that path which will be take less time, right? For example, we know that this is the shortest path, right? This is straight diagonal. This is like a this is your shortest path, right? But let's say there is so many traffic in this path, right? There are so many traffic. So what this Google will do? Google will give you another path. Since this is the shortest part, but since Google understand it, and Google will going to give you either this path or this path, right? And also Google will also going to show you that which path is going to take which met, right? You might have seen 4 minute late, 5 minute delay, right? These kind of message you might have seen in the map. So these also people are using machine learning to build these kind of systems, right? Okay, so now next thing, this AI machine learning, we are going to take around 30 to 40 sessions just for the machine learning and the artificial intelligence. So whatever we have learned before that, for example, we learn about here a Python, right? For some of you, the Python is not completed, right? It's okay. We'll see it again. We have seen HTML from basic to advanced. We have seen a CSS from basic to advanced. We have seen a JavaScript from basic to advanced. We have seen a Django, right? From basic to intermediate, I can say, right? Now we'll come to our next topic, which is here. Let's say machine learning. Then we'll come to the data science. Then we come to the deep learning, right? So basically, or we'll do one thing. We'll do one thing. Data science, I will put it on the top. Let's first learn about the data science because there are so many concepts that we're going to use in the machine learning. Let's arrange it like this. First, we'll learn about some concept of data science. Then we'll see machine learning. Then we'll see deep learning, and like so on, right? Now, inside your data science, again, there are few things we'll learn. We'll learn how to do a data analysis, how we can perform a data analysis, how we can do data visualization, right? And next, how we can build a model building, or we'll skip this model building. Model building, again, we can do it here. In this part, we can do the model building, right? Okay, so this is a plan. This is a plan. So now I'm going to start with here a data science concept. But before moving forward, let me first give you the introduction to artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? So today's we are going to just discuss about what is artificial intelligence, what is this machine learning, what are the different types, what are the problems you can solve with the help of artificial intelligence, with the help of machine learning, right? So let's begin. Okay. So now what's our agenda here? So let me give you the agenda that what are the things we are going to cover. Just zoom it. I didn't get chance to like prepare the slides. Anyway, so I'm just typing here. There are some more. There are some more. I think if I show you this, you may get confused. Let me just delete a few things from here. Let's make it simplified. So whatever we are going to cover today, that part only I am putting here. This also I'll remove it. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn today. And again, algorithm will not see it now. Algorithm takes a lot of time. So first, let's say machine learning, right? So what exactly the machine learning is? So basically, a machine learning is first, you can say it's a subset of AI, right? Now, your AI is on the top, right? Let me zoom it. Now, this is a confusion of like most of the people. Like first, let me just clarify. So basically, if you take this AI is on the top, right? Inside your AI, there are few things. Inside your AI, there is data science, there is a machine learning, data science, machine learning. Inside this only, there's a deep learning, there is some NLP concepts, right? There is some computer vision, there is a generative AI, right? Everything is inside this AI. And also, I can also say this machine learning also is inside the data science, right? But let's keep it like, let's make it very simple. Let's not make it complicated. So now you can understand key our AI has different branches, right? So one branches will go to the machine learning, one branches will go to the data science, one branch is deep learning, one branch is NLP, one branch is computer vision, and one branch is you can say generative AI, right? So we also have another branches, agentic AI, right? Okay. Now the next thing is that what's the point of bringing all the branches? If we already have AI, right? Why we need of these all branches, right? And the answer here is that because we have a different datas, right? So what are the datas we have? We have, for example, image data, we have video data, we have text data, we have audio data, as well as we have a tabular data. Tabular data, which are in the form of rows and the columns, right? Your CSV file is your tabular data, right? So now, next, the most important things. We have these different branches because we have the different types of data, right? Let's say if you have this image data, so what branches you will use? What branches of your AI you will use if you have this image data, right? Let's take very small example. Let's say you might have heard about automatic challan, right? So whenever you cross any red line or jump any red line, so basically automatically challan is going to be generated and you will get it in your mobile phone message or you will get it in the email. So for that, the data they're using here, they're using image as well as the video data, right? They're using here data, image as well as the video data. Now, if you have image in the video data, the branch that you are going to use here, you will use a computer vision. Right here, let's say computer vision, you will use it for image as well as video data, right? So now you can also use a deep learning if you have image and the video data, right? So let me add here some branches over here. So let's say your deep learning has a few branches. One branches go to ANN, another branches will go to the CNN, another branches will go to the RNN, right? So now the next thing, if you have image and video data, you can use this CNN. That's right here. This is for image as well as your video, right? Okay. After this, next, let's say if you have something called text data, right? So for example, what are the project you can build with the help of text data? You can build a sentiment analysis, right? For example, there is a product review system you wanted to build. You just have need to put the text and automatically they will find out the sentiments, right? So for this is your text data. And you can also say, let's say government has launched one policy and the government also wants to find out what is the sentiment, what is the opinion of all the, let's say, public, right? Whether public is happy with that policy or public is angry, like what's the sentiment of that public. So what public will do, once the policy will come, public will keep posting the Twitter, they will keep posting in the Instagram and all the social media. They will keep talking about in the text format, right? I'm talking about in the text format. After this, we analyze all the text and then we find out the sentiment of it, right? For text data, you're going to use here these NLP concepts, right? If your data consists of a text, you can use this NLP concept, or you can also use here audio data, right? So we know that we can convert our text into this audio, and we can convert audio into the text, right? So for that, we can use NLP for both text as well as audio data, right? So one more thing, you can also use RNN for your text as well as your audio data, right? Now, next, let's talk about here the last types of data, which are tabular data, right? I think all of you know tabular data, right? The data in the form of rows and the columns, right? That's called a tabular data. If you have a tabular data, so what are the branches that you can use? So let me write here, let's say there is a tabular data, right? So you can use the concept of machine learning. You can use the concept of data science. Also, you can use the deep learning, right? So basically you can use ANN architecture, right? Okay. Now the next thing, we have a generative AI. So generative AI, basically it help you to generate all sort of data. If you nowadays, if you ask GPT to write a story, your GPT will going to give a story, right? That story are in the form of text, right? Now, if you ask, let's say Gemini to produce one video, or not video, like let's say a image, they can produce, right? You will ask Mid Journey to produce a image, a video, they can produce, right? Even you can ask to generate this tabular data, right? So basically, generative AI is all about generating the data, right? Okay, so one important things that I wanted to discuss. So right now, it's not, um, you can't say ki only machine learning only works on the tabular data, right? You can't say ki machine learning only works on the tabular data. It can also works on image data. It can also works on video data, text data, right? But we prefer to use, if we have image data or video data, we prefer to use computer vision as well as the deep learning, right? Otherwise, for machine learning, we have to properly, you can say, pre-process the data. We have to entire thing convert it into the text. There is a lot, right? There is a lot of things. So, and also to boost the accuracy also, we are going to use here computer vision and the deep learning, right? So this is the branches. This is what we are trying to cover in this entire session, right? So first, we are going to start with our data science, because there are so many concepts that will be useful for your machine learning, that will be useful for your deep learning, that will be useful for your NLP, and yeah, and somewhere computer science also it will help, right? And in this data science only, there are so many libraries that we will use. Everything we will learn in the very like basic to advanced, right? In very detail, we are going to discuss. Okay, so let me remove this. This entire thing we are going to cover: machine learning, data science, deep learning, NLP, computer vision, as well as generative AI, right? Okay, so how do you want me to proceed? Like, we'll go fast or we'll go slow? Because slower will take a lot of time. So, I mean, if we go medium, right? Medium is fine. So if you go slow, then thing is that the session will takes around, I don't know, 3 months more, right? And I think you guys have exams also. When is your exam? April? What? 1st April. Okay, so now it's March. When it will over? Acha, April 3rd week. March last week it will start. April 1st to April 3rd.
We have mixed we did to extend it.
Acha, means 3 weeks.
Second internal section. External
All are One continuously.
Continuously.
How? And why? Uh, okay, so you guys also need some break now between like during the exams. Yeah. It will be good because pausing this will be difficult. Okay. Okay, sir, we will learn generative AI also in this course. Yes, Karthik. So I am planning to add the one more module for generative AI because nowadays the market is going forward towards generative AI, right? I'm just planning to add this also, right? At least not like too much. Maybe if I give you a basic knowledge or I will build any few applications using generative AI, that will be really helpful for your career, right? So that in the future also you can go and apply for job for generative AI engineer or something like this, right, Karthik? Okay, so let us begin now. Let's begin now, right? Now, so first, what I will do, let me change the plan a little bit. First, I thought of starting the data science. We'll do one thing. First, we'll see just the introduction of machine learning, right? First, see the introduction to the machine learning, and then we'll come to the data science, right? Or also we make a plan like this. First, we'll see the introduction to machine learning. Let's say intro to ML. There are different types. There are different let's say little small concept, right? After this, next we will see what are the ML libraries. Once we cover this introduction, ML libraries, and after this, next we'll come to the data science. Because for data science, you required some ML library, right? And also you required some knowledge of machine learning. And then we'll come to the data science, right? And once we finish up the data science, again we'll come to the machine learning. This time we're going to learn about some algorithms, machine learning algorithm. So the plan is like this. We'll start with introduction to machine learning. We'll not go the depth inside this. And once we see the introduction, then we'll come to the machine learning libraries. Why we are learning? Because for the data science, it is required. We have a lot of libraries, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, SciPy, TensorFlow, Keras, a lot. And after this, next, once we cover this data science concept, next again we'll come to the ML algorithm. We'll understand how our different ML algorithms work, how this linear regression work, how this distant tree works, right? Do you have curriculum in your syllabus, right? Okay, so it means you guys are familiar a little bit, right? So we'll see how this random forest actually works, how SVM actually works, right? What's the maths behind it, right? Why we need to understand this? Because when you go for the interview, they will not tell you to use any library and implement it. They will ask you, tell me how it is working, right? Simple. Okay, Omed is saying, sir, can you tell your team to send the recordings of the classes? Omer, you can do one thing. You can just put one message in the group. Just put a message. If you need the recording, you just have to put the message and they will reply with. They'll send you the recordings. Right? Okay, so let's begin now. Now, first thing, let's start with what exactly this machine learning is. Right? What exactly this. Okay, I already have the slides. Yeah, what exactly this machine learning is, right? So basically, in machine learning, we are just teaching a computer. I will not give a very like high definition. I mean, 3-4 line of definition and make you confused. I'll give you a very small definition that in machine learning, we teach a computer. We teach a computer, right? That's it. And after this, next, now we have a different ways of teaching a computer, right? I think since you guys are have already learned about AIML, so you guys already have little knowledge, right? Okay, so next we'll learn about one thing, ki why there is a machine learning, right? Or how this machine learning actually learns. So let me just bring here one thing. Okay, so this I took it from internet, right? Somewhere I find and I save it. This is a best way to like explain why this machine learning is important. Machine learning versus traditional programming language, right? Okay. So what happened in the traditional programming language? Let's say you have this computer, right? You write some code, you provided some data, right? And data means you can say you provided some input. Let's take this. You provided some input and you add some code. You add some program and you will get the output, right? Let's take one example. Let's say you given some input call, let's say 4, right? You given the input call 4. You write it here. You given the input as 4 and you given the program call n square, right? After this, you give to this computer and you are getting the result called 16, right? You given the input call 2. Again, the program is n square. You're getting the output as 4. Again, you're giving the input as 3, giving the n square, and you're getting the output as, let's say, 9. Right? This is what the traditional programming is doing, right? But now, what happened in the machine learning? We cross this to the input, right? Okay, data is also fine, but just to make you understand, we added here, right? So what we do inside this machine learning, we are giving input as well as the output, right? For example, previously we are giving this program called n square, right? Right now we have to give this input as well as this output. For example, I will give first input called 2 and I will give output called 4, right? After this, what output will get here? What program will get here? Because we are not sure. It can be like 2x. The program can be like 2x. For example, this is x, value of x, right? Now, this can be, let's say, x squared. Because we are not sure, because there is only one example you have given. Let's take here one more example. I'll give here input as 3, and here we are getting output as 9, right? Now I get sure ki, okay, this is not the program, this is the program, right? So basically what exactly happening here in your machine learning, you are not giving any kind of program, right? This program or this code automatically predicted by your machine learning, right? You just need to give the input as well as output. That's it. And automatically it will find out some mathematical formula. Here program means you can understand it's a mathematical formula, like, right? Okay. And now the next thing, let me take here a very small example, right? I'll create a multiple. This is coming. I'll create here multiple blank page so that I'll write it. Okay, so now let's understand one thing. So just now we discussed about training, let's say traditional programming versus machine learning, right? Let's take one small example. Let's say I wanted to create one spam email detection. Spam email, let's say classification. Let's take this classification, right? So in that case, what we need to do here, let's take what we did do in the traditional way. Traditionally, what we are doing here, we are writing something called if your email, right? If your email consists of words like win, money, right? If your email consists of, let's say, something called free, free, free. If your email consists of, uh, let's say, lottery. If your email consists of, let's say, you won a trip, let's say, won a trip, right? It means that there is a high chances this all image is going to be spam, right? This we do it in the traditionally, we just find out the words, right? For example, these words, we take these words and manually will do the coding, right? It's a rule-based coding. For example, if this contain inside my email, I will consider it as spam. If this is inside my email, I will consider as spam. So this was a rule-based previously, traditionally, right? But now with the help of machine learning, so there is a no need of like doing this kind of code, right? There's no rule base. So we will create a data set, right? For example, let's say I will create a data set. So for this win money, I will call it as this is my spam. For free, again, I will call this as spam. For lottery, again, I will call it as spam. Next, won, I will call it as spam. Let's create one non-spam. Uh, let's say you got, or let's say some normal message. Let's say meeting at 7. Let's say meeting at 7. We know that this is not a spam. Let's say not spam, right? So nowadays what we are doing, so this will be my input. This is my input and this is my output, right? So basically we choose a model. We take one ML model. Let's say ML, we give here input, we give here output, and after this, it will predict whether this is spam or not, right? For example, this input we have given all the text emails, and also we give one output also. And on the basis of this, it will do some mapping. After mapping, it will tell me, it will predict whether this is a spam email or it's a genuine email, right? Okay. So the next thing, uh, we'll do one thing. These are the very basic things. Directly we'll come to our types of machine learning, right? Let's directly come to the types of machine learning. Okay, let's say now. So just now we discussed about here a machine learning, right? So we have a different types of machine learning. We also discussed that machine learning is all about teaching a computer, right? Very simple definition. I know this definition is not perfect, right? But it's correct. So basically, we are teaching the machine. That's it. And after this, next, there are different types of machine learning, right? So I think you already know this. We have a supervised, we have unsupervised, we have semi-supervised, right? As well as we have reinforcement learning, right? Now, we'll come to this types of machine learning. But first, let's understand about different types, right? types of learning. For example, there is one student, right? Let's say there is one student. This student wants to learn something, right? For example, let's say this student think of learning Python. So what are the different ways? What are the different options this student having, right? Student will say, ki, okay, I can basically take a help of a teacher. I will ask a teacher to teach the Python. First thing. Second option is that student can do a self-study, right? So why we are discussing this, you will understand within like 5 minutes, right? So basically we try to understand different types of machine learning, right? So before moving forward, let's understand this. There is a student and this student wants to learn the Python. Now there are different ways of learning. First, one teacher came and they will deliver the session. Another thing is that they can do the self-study. Another way of teaching, right? Another way this student can do, they can take the help of teacher, plus they can do self-study, right? Another way is that they can do uh, try and error, right? Hit an error, try an error, right? Whatever, you can say anything. Okay, so now let's write here, try and error, right? So this is the 4 different ways how this student can learn. Again, I'm repeating, they can help they can help of teacher, do the self-study, taking the teacher, asking the teacher as well as doing self-study, and they can do try and error, right? Now, next, let's come back to our types of machine learning. So we have here different types of machine learning, right? So first type of machine learning, we have a supervised. In the supervised, what it means is some teacher is there and they are helping you, right? Let's come to the unsupervised. In the unsupervised, you are basically doing the self-study. Self-study. Next, we have here a semi-supervised. In the semi-supervised, one teacher is teaching you, plus you're doing the self-study. Next, we have reinforcement learning, right? So basically, it's a try and error, or you can also say reward and punishment way of teaching, right? These are the different ways of learning. So that's why we have different types of machine learning, because there are different ways I can teach my machine, right? So that's why they were classified. Now, let's talk about here actual meaning of what exactly this supervised learning is, right? So first thing, in the supervised learning, we know that we have to do some supervision, right? So let's say we have a data. Let me write here. Let's say you have a data. Now data has a 2 part. Data having one input and a data having one output, right? In your supervised learning, so basically you are providing both input data as well as output data. In your supervised learning, you're providing both input data as well as output data, right? So this type of data is called here a labeled data, right? Because it labels with the answer, right? It labels with the answer. That's why call here labeled data, right? In unsupervised learning, you are just providing here input data, right? And this kind of data is called unlabeled data, right? The third semi-supervised learning, some data are labeled, but some data are unlabeled, right? That's called here a unsupervised learning, right? After this, next, we have a reinforcement learning. So basically, in the reinforcement learning, what we do, uh, this is basically a punishment and reward kind of learning, right? For example, let's say I have a dog and I wanted to teach this dog to do the handshake. right? So in that case, what I will do here, first, I will bring my hand in front of this dog. If dog will also do the same thing, if dog will also do the handshake, then I'll treat him with some reward. I'll give some reward. For example, their favorite biscuit or snacks or something, right? But if the dog don't do the handshake, I will give him any punishment, right? So there is also learning. The learning is also happening. The only thing here is that, so we are using reward and punishment, right? And again, this is your reinforcement learning, right? So, so what we do in our entire curriculum, we focus on this supervised as well as unsupervised, right? Will not touch semi-supervised as well as reinforcement learning, because if you learn these two, these you will do the practice, right? These two are mostly important. If you go to the any interview, they will mostly going to ask you from the supervised and the unsupervised, right? Okay, so now any confusion here? Okay. After this, next. Just a minute. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. So any confusion in supervised, unsupervised, supervised reinforcement, right? Okay. So now the next thing, why they have classified this, why they have divided machine learning into the four different parts, right? Now, you know, if they're dividing something, it means that let's supervise. Let's take this supervise, right? Supervise do some kind of task. Your unsupervised also do some kind of task. Your reinforcement also going to do some kind of task. Your semi-supervised also going to do some kind of task, right? Now, so what are the tasks? So we will discuss about these two. What are the tasks cover done by supervised as well as unsupervised, right? So let me just bring here. Oh, this happens. Okay, so let's discuss about supervised as well as unsupervised, right? Now, your supervised learning can solve two types of problem, right? Or you can also say there are two types of supervised learning, right? I used to say it solves two types of problem, right? You can also say types or anything. First type of problem, it solve a classification problem. Second type of problem, it can solve a regression problem, right? After this, your unsupervised learning also solves. There are many problems the unsupervised learning can solve. One of the problem can be clustering, dimensionality reduction. We can build, in future, we will build a recommendation system using this unsupervised learning, right? And there are many more. So first, we'll discuss about here a classification, right? So now, what kind of data you have in the supervised? Label data, right? So let me write here. It has a label data. And after this, next. Oh. Okay. So your supervised learning has a label data, right? After this, next, this supervised learning can solve, or it has two types. First is classification and second is regression, right? Now, what is the mean of classification and what's the mean of regression? First, let's understand what exactly this regression means, right? Now, the aim of the supervised learning here is to predict, right? This you should understand. The aim of your supervised learning here is to predict, right? And now, what prediction we have to do? So in your regression also, you have to do some prediction. Again, in classification also, you have to do a prediction. Let me write it here. In classification also, you have to do some prediction, right? There's a small difference here is that in your regression, you need to predict some continuous numerical value, right? The aim of this, you can say a regression here is to predict a continuous numerical value, right? Now the next thing, the aim of your classification here is to predict some classes. Let's take here a very small example. I'll make it smaller so that we'll have some room to write. Okay. So now our aim of this regression is to predict a number. Predict a number. Or in precisely, I can say predict a continuous number. Right. Again, we'll discuss about what is this continuous number, what is this discrete number, right? Okay. So now you understand we have to predict the number. Now, what are the different projects you can do? For example, if you wanted to solve house price prediction, right? For example, based on how many BHK, how many, let's say, square feet of house, you have to predict the price, right? Next, let's say you wanted to predict the salary of employee. That's also a number. You wanted to predict, let's say, stock price. That's also a number. You wanted to predict the student score. That's also a number. You wanted to predict the delivery time, right? For example, Zomato delivery time. So this is also a number. You wanted to predict what could be sale in 2026, 2025, how many revenue it will generate. So that's all your number, right? So in the regression, what we do here, our aim here is to predict the number, right? Okay. So now let's talk about here the classification. Again, the aim of classification is to predict, right? But now what we need to predict here, we need to predict the classes, right? Or categories. Here, we need to predict the classes or a category, right? For example, what kind of classes I'm talking about? I'm talking about, let's say, whether the email that you got, it's a spam email or it's a not spam email, right? Whether a student will pass or the fail, whether the image consists of cat or the dog, or true and the false, yes, no, right? So basically, uh, this is the classification, right? I'll just repeat one more time. Or before moving forward, let me just give some more projects with you. For example, let's say I wanted to find out whether the transaction that you got, it's a fraud transaction or it's a genuine transaction. Let's say I put one text and I wanted to find out whether this text is a positive or this text is negative or this text is neutral, right? There is also what we are doing. We try to predict some classes. This is positive class, negative class, or a neutral class, right? So always remember one thing. Whenever your aim is to predict any number, that's call it as a regression task. Whenever your aim is to predict some classes or some category, that's called here a classification task, right? Simple. Now let's talk about here a clustering, what exactly this clustering is, right? Okay. So one more thing, in your classification, it also has a few types, right? But I'll not tell you now, you will get confused. It has also binary classification, multi-class classification. We'll discuss this later, right? Now let's directly come to here a clustering, right? So in clustering, what we do here, our aim here is to group a similar kind of data points. That's it. Simple. In your clustering, the aim here is to group a similar kind of, you can say, data points, right? For example, let's say you have a Big Bazaar customer data, right? You have something called a Big Bazaar customer data. And next, you wanted to form a cluster according to their purchase behavior, according to their, you can say, expenditure, according to their age. You wanted to cluster according to their education, right? So these kind of cluster you can form, right? And the dimensional reduction, you can use this PCA, right? This also we will discuss in detail, right? This is also many questions they will ask from this dimensional reduction, right? So let me give you a one-line definition here is that, let's say if your data set consists of a lot of features, a lot of columns your data set having, you want to reduce that columns, right? For example, let's say your data set consists of thousands column. Using this dimensionality reduction, you can basically reduce the column, right? Or you reduce the features or reduce the columns, right? That we'll discuss later. Okay, so any confusion here in this part, whatever you have discussed? I think this you already know from your school, college time, right? Okay, after this, next, uh, let us now discuss about some key terminology which are important to know in machine learning. Right? Let's first understand some key terminology. So first, let's discuss about here features. Let's discuss about features, right? Next, uh, we'll discuss about a label. Next, we'll discuss about, let's say, model. Okay, so let's say now, first thing, what you should know here, what exactly this features is. So I will use it often like features, input, right? So basically, features are your input variables. I'll write it here. This is your input variables. You can call it as features, you can call it as inputs, right? Both are same. After this, next, or let me give you a very, very small example, right? For example, let's say I wanted to predict whether a person will pass or the fail, right? So for that, what I will do here, I will take their number of study hours, right? For example, I will take their study hours. I will take their, let's say, sleep hours, right? And after this, next, let's take this. Let's take this. Let's say, what are the features? Let's say I wanted to find out whether this person is going to be pass and the fail. For this person, I'm going to ask two important questions. How many hours of study you do, right? How many hours you study? Let's say this person say, yeah, I study for 5 hours. And next you will ask how many hours you sleep. They'll say, okay, I sleep as 4 hours, right? From here, you can predict that this person is most likely to pass, right? And these two are called your input features, right? And after this, next, let's talk about here what exactly this label is. Label is nothing but it's your output variable. Is this label? Yes. This label is called your output variable, right? Here, whatever you predict, pass or the fail, this is your label. Let's say you add here pass, right? Simple. Okay. After this, next, let me give here one more example. If I open my data set, you just need to predict which one is your output variable. Right? Inside my drive, I have a lot of data set. Now let's take this data set. Okay, so is it properly? Okay, this is not properly visible, right? Let's zoom it. You can see column name, right? Okay, so can you predict? First, I will give you what kind of data it is. This is the cars 24 data, right? The aim here is to predict the price of a second-hand car, right? Can you guess which one is your column, means input, and which one is your output? Again, like I'll repeat, let's say your aim here is to predict the price of a second-hand car, right? So which one you will consider, which column you will consider as features, or which column you will consider as a label? It's fine. Again, we will discuss in we'll discuss later also. Which one is you will consider as features, and which one you consider as labeled or a labels, right? Okay. Since this is second-hand car price, our aim here is to predict the selling price, right? So this column, I will consider it as a label, or I can also call it as output variable. Remaining all the columns, I will consider it as my features. This column, your name column, year column, kilometer driven column, fuel column, seller types, transmission, all the columns, I will treat it as this is my features. But the selling price is my output. This is my label, right? Okay. Let's take here one more example. I have a lot of data. So let's say, do we have inside this loan and this also. Yeah. Let's say, what happened? Let's take this loan data. It's opening. Okay, this open start. Okay, let's take this Rapido CSV, Rapido.csv. Let's understand with this, right? Okay. Now, let's say my aim here is that I wanted to predict the, uh, let's say, Rapido fare, right? Based on some input, my aim here is to predict some fare, right? So this is my total fare column. I will consider this total fare column as my label or my output variable, right? This I will consider it as my output variable, and remaining everything, I will consider all the columns, I will consider it as input features or input variables, or you can say features, right? This you will understand. Even if you don't understand, just no worries. So this is very, very simple things. We'll see in future also, right? Okay, so there is one more thing we'll discuss about models, right? So, okay, so next thing we'll also discuss about model. This also we'll see in detail, right? Now, all the machine learning engineer, their aim is to build the model, right? This entire 3 months, what we need to do here, we need to build a model. Not like 3 months, like whatever time it will take, let's say I hope it will finish within like 45 days or 2 months, let's say. Okay, so now our here aim is to build the model, right? For building the model, you required a data set and you required one algorithm, right? For example, what kind of algorithm you can use? You can use here linear regression, logistic regression, descent tree, random forest, right? That also we'll see in the detail, right? So to build here a model, data plus algorithm, that will makes a model, right? Now with the help of this model, I can save this model and I can use it in my Django project. I can integrate it with my website, right? There's a lot we can do, right? Okay, so okay, I think enough. So uh, we discuss, I think, just 1 hour completely about some basic introduction to the machine learning, right? I hope you will not feel bored. No, right? But of course, like theory is little bit boring. I admit, right? And now let's begin with some hands-on activity, right? Let us begin. Okay, so first let me give you the list of libraries that we are going to see. I have added some list of libraries here. Let me find out. I put some list of libraries and yeah, I kept. Okay, so what are the libraries that we are going to learn? Let's see. So first library, which are very useful library, is our NumPy array, right? And we will follow this sequence only. First, we'll learn about NumPy, right? Okay. After this, next we learn about here a pandas. Next, we learn about a matplotlib. Next, we'll learn about a seaborn. Okay. Next, there is one more which is called Plotly. It is becoming very famous, like, and let me add here some sequence, and yeah, we'll also see here scikit-learn. We will also see TensorFlow. TensorFlow, Keras. Okay, so what else? What else? We'll also see OpenCV library. We'll also see NMTK, and what else? Media pipe also I'll discuss because there are so many projects to do with the media pipe. Media pipe. Okay, what else? Okay, later I'll add it. So whatever like I'll remember. Let's keep it like this. So these are the basic. These are the basic and the most important library that you should learn, right? And whatever is remaining, I'll tell you later, right? Okay. So first, we'll use this for a data analysis, right? NumPy is also used for many more things, but let's say let's remove this numpy from here, right? Because see, numpy is very, very important. Pandas will use this numpy, matplot also use this numpy, seaborn also use this numpy, even Plotly, scikit-learn, TensorFlow, right? Everyone is using this numpy only, right? Why we are using this numpy a lot, we will see. So first we use the pandas for, let's say, data analysis. We can perform some basic data analysis and advanced also. Next, we use here uh, matplotlib as well as seaborn for the data visualization. Data visualization, right? Okay, this also missing. Plotly also we can use it for the data visualization, right? Next, we'll use this scikit-learn for machine learning. We use this TensorFlow for deep learning. We'll use this OpenCV for computer vision. We'll use this media pipe, OpenCV as well as this media pipe. This is my computer vision library. Next, we'll use NLTK for our NLP project. So that's it. So there are a few more text blurb that also will do it. Yeah. So these 5 library, we will spend some more time about these 5 libraries, right? Because if you understand these 5 library, so your data science concept will clear, your pre-processing concept will be clear. There are many concepts you will learn with the help of this, right? So will we start with NumPy array from today or tomorrow? We'll start, or you want some rest for today? Okay, you can say like we'll start NumPy. Okay, so let's begin with our NumPy. Okay, so can you start it from tomorrow? Okay, Umair is saying he just start from tomorrow. It's already time. Okay, fine. Okay, then so we'll start from tomorrow, right? Okay, then so from tomorrow, so today is all about understanding about different branches of your machine learning. We'll see some introduction to the machine learning. We have seen some types of the machine learning. We have seen different datas, right? And we also understand, so what are the problems solved by supervised? What are the problems solved by unsupervised? We are also seeing what are the important machine learning libraries that we have. We talk about some ML terms, features, labels, models, right? Traditional versus is. Okay, so I think that's it, right? So now next plan of action here is that we'll spend 2 days on this NumPy, right? Just spend 2 days for this NumPy. Next, we'll spend again 2 days for this pandas. We'll spend 2 days for this matplotlib. No, matplotlib will be like much more. Let's spend only 1 day. 1 day for a matplotlib and 1 day for seaborn. And 1 day for the plotly. Okay, that goes over 5 and 6 days. Okay, I don't want to give here. It's become a 7 days. I wanted to finish up in like 6 days. Otherwise, remaining topic will be left. Okay, anyway, let's say later we'll make a plan, right? So we'll spend around 5 to 6 days to learn about these all libraries, right? So once this all library you will learn, you will understand how you can do data analysis, how you can do data visualization, right? And how you can understand the data. data pre-processing, data cleaning, a lot of things. Okay, then, so that's it for today, right? So, any doubt you have? Any doubt? No? We'll wind up. Okay. You also start learning, watch some videos on NumPy, like you can just start learning. Just spend at least 1 hour and that's it, right? Okay, then, so let's close our session and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, by the way, so when we have Holi here, when we have Holi here on 4th, huh? On 4th you have college. Okay. Holidays is tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow we'll take session. Nice, fine. And what about Holi? Can can we take session on Holi also? See, actually we already lagging behind. So that's why like I'm saying can we take on Sunday? Can we? Yeah. Okay, like do you want to take on 4th or you want holiday? I mean, you can give your own opinion. Everyone looking each other. What? Okay, can we postpone to Sunday? Yeah. Or Sunday also you want holiday? Okay, so Sunday can I take straight 3 hours? Is it fine? We'll follow this, right? Let's say 20 minutes we'll take a break in between, right? So every 1 hour, 20 minutes. So first session will be 1 hour, 20 minutes, 20 minutes break, and then again 1 hour, 20 minutes, right? It's fine. Okay, so on the 4th, like we don't have a session. So let me just say on the 4th March, we don't have a session. This session get postponed on Sunday. So Sunday, which time is suitable? It's a morning time or evening? Okay, Karthik is saying morning time. Okay, so Karthik, one option is that morning. Morning is fine, right? Hey. So do you want to come to office or you want to take it online? Ah, okay, then I'll. Fine also.
Where did you come?
If you guys will be there, I'll tell my team to like open it on Saturday. Open. Okay. So can we set the time for 10 to 1? It's fine. Sorry, 11 to 1 or 10 to 1. Okay, then 10. Let's. Okay, so Sunday, like there is no plan, right? Fresh modes. Yeah, correct, Karthik. So you guys have fresh mind. So okay, so Sunday will starts from 10 to 1. Sunday 10 to 1, right? Yeah. And you know that till Sunday we will try to cover this entire thing. This entire library will try to finish up by Sunday, so that from next Sunday we'll directly come to the little harder stuff, and then Yeah, that's it. Okay, then. So that's it for today, and we'll see you on tomorrow. Okay, Karthik, bye. Good night.